A girl who loved to dance was living in a land far, far away. Her name was Snow White. On a sunny day, Snow White saw a little piggy while walking through the forest. This little piggy clearly looked like he had lost his way. So Snow White went to help him.
Huh?
Hello, little piggy.
Who are you? Stay away from me.
Don't be afraid, little piggy. I am Snow White. I'd never hurt you. Little by little, Piggy came out from behind the tree where he was hiding.
Oh, Snow White, can you help me?
Yes, of course I can. Tell me what happened first. How did you get here?
I went out this morning to play games, but I was so immersed in the game that I did not even realize that I was far from home. Then I was trying to go back to my house. A grasshopper jumped on me. It kept making noise right in my ears. I hurried and jumped up and down to get rid of him, and I kept running. Finally, the grasshopper jumped away, but I got stuck in the middle of the forest. I've been searching my way home for hours, but I guess I'm lost. My brothers must be worrying about me. Snow White, please help me.
Snow White said to the little piggy that she would help him find his home. And they set out together. Tell me, Piggy, what's near your house?
Well, there are huge trees.
There are huge trees all over this forest. Are there any more specific landmarks near your home?
There is a lake with lush green water near our house.
There are lots of green lakes in this forest. I wonder which one.
Oh, I don't know that.
Well, Piggy, don't worry. We'll search all the lakes one by one to find your home. Snow White and the little piggy walked through the forest for a while, and then arrived at a lake with lush green water. There were water lilies on the water and long reeds around it. But the little piggy was sorry to say that his house was not near this lake.
Oh, phooey. We will never find my home.
The piggy was very upset. So he picked up a stone from the ground and threw it into the lake. But suddenly, an enormous giant frog jumped on them from inside the lake. Snow White barely rescued the piggy, who was almost trampled under the huge frog.
Which of you threw the stone at my house?
Sorry, giant frog. We were just looking for this little piggy's home.
Then go to the lake with boats not too far away. Pigs love to roam there.
Snow White and the piggy immediately went to the edge of the lake that this giant frog had talked about. Let's look around, Piggy. Maybe we're close to your house. Although Piggy was sniffing around the lake for a while, he couldn't find his home. And he started to cry loudly.
My home. I want my home.
Hush, calm down, little piggy. Don't cry. The piggy was crying so loudly that a giant red fish jumped out of the lake onto the land and nearly squashed the piggy. Snow White barely saved him again.
What's all this noise? My afternoon nap is ruined.
When the piggy saw the angry fish before him, he hid behind the princess in fear. Sorry, dear fish. We're looking for this lovely piggy's lakeside home.
Then go to the lake with the dock. There's a mud pool there. Pigs love mud.
The red fish jumped back into the lake, and Snow White and the piggy walked towards the lake with Pier. After a while, Snow White saw a few mud footprints on the ground.
Piggy, look at the footprints on the ground. These might be my brothers.
Snow White and the piggy started wandering around the lake with hope. And finally, they found the piggy's house.
Here's my home.
When they saw the little piggy back home, the pig brothers ran and hugged him.
We were very worried about you, little brother. Where'd you go? If you only knew what trouble a grasshopper brought on me. But I could never have found my way home without Snow White. Thank you, my princess.
From now on, you should learn the way home and know very well what's around, little piggy. Promise?
Pig's promise.
As the three piggies were reunited, they had fun all day in the mud in front of their house. They even brought Snow White in this fun. The little piggy was very lucky to meet Snow White that day. Because in this land, kind-hearted princesses always help animals and people. Little Mermaid Aria and the Great Fire. Once upon a time, the beautiful mermaid Aria was living in a great castle by the sea. Thanks to her human legs, she was able to run freely on the beach, picking fruits from the trees and feeding her animal friends with great pleasure.
You little squirrels are so cute.
One day, when Aria was returning from the beach to the castle, she stopped at the pier to look at the sea. In the distance, she saw big waves and some smoke over the sea. She thought that something must be wrong.
Those waves are huge. Bad things must be happening underwater.
She leaped off the pier in a panic and started to swim to the bottom. Her fishtail appeared as soon as she went into the water. As she swam, she noticed that the temperature in the water was changing.
Oh, that's not right. The water is supposed to get colder the deeper I go. Why is it getting warmer?
The water became so warm that the tip of Aria's tail turned red. Poseidon, the deep sea king, also noticed that the ocean was getting hot. He immediately stuck the tip of his trident in the sand to check the temperature of the ocean floor. He thought that if the tip of the wand turns red, he must intervene immediately. It was just as he feared. The tip his trident turned red of how hot the sand was.
If this temperature rises any further, it will be a disaster for all sea creatures.
Poseidon quickly left the deep sea kingdom and started swimming toward the hottest place in the water. The little mermaid Aria saw that the schools of fish she encountered on the way were badly affected by the temperature of the water. Just then, little dolphin Dolphy came to Aria, and his tail was red from the heat.
Aria, I was swimming to find you. What's going on? Why is the water so hot? Look at my tail.
Yes, our tails are turning red, Dolphy.
We cannot stand this heat. Look, even the mussels are turning red. Dolphy, take the other fish to the surface of the water, and I'll go find the source of this heat.
While the little dolphin, Dolphy, was swimming to the surface of the water with other fish, Arya made a strong, magical water bubble to protect her from the hotter water. With her bubble, she was able to swim further and further towards the source of the hot water. The sea witch Vega, the evil octopus of the ocean, was not affected by the heat in the water. In fact, she was in a very good mood.
What do you think about the heat of my cave, Snake?
This weather is splendid for a vacation, Your Majesties. It's toasties.
Then let's increase the temperature outside a little more and have some fun.
The sea witch Vega had set such a magical fire below her cave that the ocean floor was as hot as fire.
Let's increase this fire a little more so all the fishes will run away and the deep sea kingdom will be left to me.
Just as Vega was about to raise the fire with her powerful magic, her brother Poseidon, the king, arrived next to her.
How could you do this to us? Because of the heat, thousands of fish had to leave their homes and flee to the water's surface. You could destroy all our world.
Poseidon! Stay away! Stay away! Or I will make this fire even bigger and hotter.
Poseidon did not listen to Vega, and even though it was very hot, he used his magic trident and tried to put out the fire. But that didn't work.
You can never put out this fire, Poseidon. Stand back now.
When Poseidon did not back down, Vega started firing fireballs at him. He could not protect himself. His tail turned red because of the heat. When his power diminished, he felt weak and tried to retreat towards the water's surface. But Vega the Sea Witch saw her opportunity to defeat the king and threw a net on him. Just then, Mermaid Arya found Vega's secret, magical fire.
Vega? I should have understood that you were the one who set fire under the water and scared the fish. Stay away, Arya, or else I'll cast a spell on you, like I did to your father.
Arya, be careful. The heat is increasing.
Vega shook her octopus arms to make the magical fire burn even hotter and bigger. But the little mermaid wasn't afraid of Vega at all, knowing she was safe inside the protective bubble.
Don't worry, Father. I will put an end to this fire and free you.
Arya gathered all her strength and approached the fire with the bubble that she was in. But then, Vega started shooting out flames at the little mermaid with her octopus arms. Arya's protective bubble stopped the flames and protected her.
I could put this big fire out with an ice cube.
Mermaid Arya immediately focused on her strength and made a tiny ice cube in her hands. She blew the ice cube out of the bubble, and it grew and grew until it was huge. Vega the Sea Witch, watching what happened, couldn't hide her astonishment when she saw the size of the ice.
Oh no! No! No!
The ice cube fell onto the fire in such a way that the flame at the bottom of the sea was extinguished. Then Mermaid Arya rescued her father Poseidon, who was trapped in the net. Poseidon waved his mighty wand towards Vega and banished her into very, very deep, far, far away waters.
You managed to put out the fire, Arya. On behalf of the entire Sea Kingdom, I thank you, my beautiful daughter.
When the temperature of the water returned to normal, all fish, mussels, and turtles happily returned to their home in the deeps.
All right, this is great. We're safe again.
Seawater was always icy, but the fish that lived in it never lost the warmth in their hearts.
Hello, my friends. I'm so glad you're all safe.
Red shoes. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a very cute girl named Karen. She lived in a tiny house with her mother and was a very happy girl. She would ask her mother about everything she was curious about.
Mom, what are these tiny lights in the sky?
They are stars, Karen. Everyone who lives on Earth eventually turns into a star and shines in the sky forever. Karen only had one toy, one dress, and a pair of wooden slippers she wore on the street. The wooden slippers her mother made for her were not very comfortable, but they were the only ones she had. One day, Karen's mother got very sick. So Karen went to town to buy medicine for her mother, and along the way, she found a pair of red shoes in a box on the roadside. The shoes shone so beautifully that Karen couldn't help but bring them home with her.
Look, Mommy, I found these by the roadside. Aren't they beautiful? Just right for me.
These may belong to someone else, Karen. You should immediately take them back.
But if they had an owner, she wouldn't have left them there with the box.
Maybe the owner dropped it accidentally.
Then they shouldn't have dropped it. I found them. They belong to me now. They're mine.
Baby, listen to me carefully. I may not be able to buy you new shoes right now, but I don't want you to wear someone else's shoes just because of that. Please, don't be stubborn. Promise you won't wear these red shoes. Karen sadly promised her mother not to wear red shoes and hid them under her bed. Months passed by until one day Karen came home and couldn't find her mother in the house. She looked all over until she realized that her mother had become a bright star. The next day, on her way to her mother's funeral, Karen put on those red shoes. Those who came to the funeral couldn't take their eyes off Karen's shoes.
How dare she wear red
So
shoes?
disrespectful.
But Karen did not care because she loved her shoes. A good-hearted old woman passed by the cemetery. This old woman learned that this little girl was now an orphan and wanted to adopt her.
Come with me, pretty girl. I will do my best to make you successful and beautiful when you grow up.
So Karen went to live with the old woman for many years.
Karen, you've been wearing these shoes since your mother's funeral. You need to take them off now. They're so dirty. No, I love my red shoes. Oh, Karen, don't be so stubborn. Come on, change your shoes. I'll buy better shoes, I promise.
Karen did not want to offend the old woman who had been so kind to adopt her. So she finally took off her red shoes and threw them away. Days passed until one day, Karen was playing in her new room with her new clothes and toys, and the old woman brought her a new pair of shoes. But Karen didn't like these shoes at all.
But these are blue. Very ugly. I don't like them at all.
So for years to come, Karen missed her red shoes a lot. She grew into a beautiful young lady, but her stubborn attitude never changed. Even when the old lady brought her gifts.
I don't want to wear this thing. But I knit this for you.
I'll never eat this food.
Make me French fries. At least take a little bite, darling.
The old woman was very upset when Karen got up from the table without having a meal. She made French fries for her and took them to her room. At that time, Karen was taking off her blue shoes.
Look, see? All my things are so small now. I've grown up. Well, come on then. Let's buy you new clothes and shoes.
Then the old woman and Karen went to the store.
Oh, look, just like my favorite red shoes. I must have them. Let's get these. Karen, you don't need fancy red shoes. You need shoes that you can wear respectfully. Like, if we need to go to a funeral. I can only buy you one pair of shoes. Let's buy those black ones and go home. I am very tired.
I don't care. If you don't buy both shoes, I'll walk barefoot everywhere from now on.
Little girl, I wish you weren't so stubborn.
The old woman bought the black shoes for Karen and spent the last of her money to appease her with the red sparkly shoes, too. They had to walk home on foot. The old woman's feet hurt a lot along the way, and she could not keep up with the spoiled Karen. And Karen didn't care. She walked on home with her new red shoes. One day, the old woman told Karen that they needed to attend a funeral in town.
Karen, be sure to put on your black shoes. Otherwise, it will be disrespectful at the funeral.
Karen looked at the black shoes in her room, and then at the bright red ones. She chose to put on the red shoes. When they left the house, she covered them up with her skirt, so the old woman would not see the shoes. However, at the funeral, everyone saw Karen's shoes, shining brightly under her skirt. They spoke amongst themselves about Karen's red shoes at the funeral, and about how disrespectful the shoes were. When what was said came to the old woman's ear, she got very angry.
You didn't listen to what I told you, and you put on the red shoes again. You're so stubborn, Karen. Show some respect.
A handsome young lord passing by at that time was struck by Karen's beauty. He came to her and went down on his knees and gave her compliments.
How beautiful you are, and so delicate in these beautiful shoes.
My lord, you make me blush.
You must be a very good dancer. I invite you to the dance night in the palace tonight. Please come.
With the happiness of the Lord's offer, Karen started dancing with joy. But after a while, Karen couldn't stop dancing.
Why can't I stop my feet? What is happening? Oh!
Karen started walking away from the old lady and the Lord while she was dancing.
Karen! Come back!
Even though the Lord chased Karen for a while, he lost her. Karen's red shoes turned out to be more stubborn than Karen. They took her until top of the mountain and made her dance day and night for 3 days. Karen's feet hurt so much that she screamed at every step.
Oh!
Even though they got into the mud and prickly needles stuck, the shoes kept dancing.
Enough! I'm very tired. I won't be so stubborn from now on. I promise. Please stop. Shoes, please stop. Stop.
And when Karen said she'd give up all her stubbornness, the red shoes jumped off her feet, and Karen, too, fell to the ground. And the red shoes kept on dancing without her. Karen found a stick and managed to limp home in pain. Her legs hurt a lot. She started to cry with happiness when she saw her house. The old woman greeted her at the door. They hugged each other.
I know I was very stubborn, girl, but I promise I won't be like that anymore.
After Karen gave up her stubbornness, things started to get better. One day, someone knocked on the door. It was the young and handsome lord.
Well, there you are, Karen. I tried to keep up, but you danced so fast. How did you do that?
Karen was glad to see the handsome and young lord. That was the day the Lord and Karen's love began, leaving stubbornness behind. Karen lived a happy and peaceful life.